Hold on, give me a second.
Boom. Okay. We're back. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. and on weekends we do this at 9 a.m. I try my best to explain things so that you can just jump right in and we are ready to begin. All right. If you're just waking up and your whole body is kind of stiff, feel free to force yourself to do a little bit of movement. Shake those hips, warm things up, and then we're gonna get into our real warm up. All right. I'm gonna turn on the light. We are ready to go. First thing we're gonna do is called hip cars. Hip cars are all about taking your legs, bring them through a maximum range of motion, slowly and getting stronger as we get more mobile. All right. The first thing I want you to do is bring this leg up as high as you can. It might be a little bit difficult to tell what my leg is doing from this angle, so I'm going to rotate around. We're going to lift that knee as high as we can. Then from there, we're going to open up that hip directly to the side. Oh, way over there. Try to keep your hips in the same spot. We don't want to go wee and start spinning all over the place. All right. Just trying to keep the hips stable, opening up the legs. Keep that knee high. All right. From there, we're going to rotate the ankle so it starts coming up and the knee starts coming, not down necessarily, but it feels like it's coming down because your ankle is coming up. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. We open up that hip wide, and then we went, woo, bring that ankle up. All right. I want you to aim for this horizontal position first. And as you get more skilled, as you get more comfortable, I want you to keep going. Bring that ankle up, 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 up. Ah, your hamstrings might feel super tense, and that's absolutely a-okay. Bring the leg down and back. So instead of to the side, we're going down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel that stretch here in the front in your hip flexor, and we are done with the first rep. We're gonna do 10 of these on the left side, 10 of these on the right side, and I guess all that's left now is to begin. Let's go. Whew. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's one high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's two high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's three high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's four high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's five high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. You do not have to open as wide as I do. For some of you, for some of these movements, especially on this hip extension on the back, maybe you're going way further than me, but we're just trying to get to our absolute best, and that is going to be different for everybody. The reason why this is hard is because you're trying to work those muscles, bring your leg to the highest point that your muscles can handle, using their own power, and hopefully, as you do more of these, you'll get a little bit stronger. Ooh. I think this is 9. Last one. Up, open, ankle up, down and back. Oh, that is 10 hip cars. Give me a second. I'm going to turn on the light. Oof. And we will continue. Whew. And the hip cars going forward. We're going to do the other side. All right. Let's go. If you're just joining in, don't worry. I explain everything as we go so you can jump right in. Cool. Stand up. Keep that core nice and strong, nice and tight. And let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Try to get to horizontal first. And then when you've mastered that, keep on going. Bring that ankle up way high. Down and back. That's 2. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 3. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 5. I'm pretty sure. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 6. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. You can't see this that well because of the angle of my body, but my arm is resting against the wall to help a little bit with balance so I can focus on the muscles that I'm really trying to contract in the leg, in the hip. I think this is 8. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 9. This is the last one. Come on. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. Oh, that is our hip cars going forward. Now we're going to get ready to go and do them backwards. Chase says, should we be holding on to a wall too? Oh, sorry. Robert says, should we be holding on to a wall too? You don't need to. It's totally possible to do this without holding on to anything. But it requires a lot more balance and stability in your ankles, in your standing leg. And it might also require a lot more stability in the hip, because when your leg is all out over there, you start clenching here to help counterbalance, right? So it's up to you. If you want to build some strength, you feel like you got good balance, and you want to work on it a little bit more, you don't have to hold on to anything. But if you stay really close to a wall, so that as soon as your hips get tired and you're like, ooh, I don't want to do this anymore, you can continue and have the support from the wall. That'd be great. Sort of in between position for you to figure out how hard you want to work this standing hip, or whatever hip is standing. All right. We had a couple seconds while I rambled about standing or not standing and holding the wall, not holding the wall. So hopefully you were able to relax. Hopefully you add a little bit of movement to help loosen up the hip, perhaps that was holding you up and balancing and keeping you from flopping all over the place. Now that you've taken a second, we're going to do this in reverse. And in reverse, I want to emphasize one major thing. All right? I want you to keep the core nice and tight. Super tight. Strong. Like you're about to get punched. All right? The reason for this is because when we go in reverse, the thing that we ended with is going first, reversing, right? And the first thing we're going to do this time is bring the leg down and back. Some of us are going to get really ambitious, and you're going to send that leg flying back way over there. Oftentimes, when you're doing that, when you're trying really hard, you're going to put a whole bunch of pressure into the low back, all right? And I'll just emphasize the low back twerking a little bit for you to show you why that might get a little bit irritating for your spine over time. We're doing 10 reps on the left leg, we're doing 10 reps on the right leg, and if you're really kicking out that leg really hard, your low back might be a little bit unhappy. All right, so what I want you to do is keep that core nice and tight so that you're not twerking. All right, keep it tight so you can't twerk. And then you'll feel the stretch out here in the hip flexor instead of up here in the spine. Cool? Let's go. We're starting with that leg back. Core tight. Leg up to the side. Once you've hit horizontal, I want you to rip that ankle up into the sky. And down. Lift that knee as high as you can. Bring it forward, and we're done with one rep. All right? There's a lot of words. I know, lots of details. When we go through them, it'll get easier. Don't worry. All right. Core tight. Let's go. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's one. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's two. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's three. Too close to the wall. Back. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's four. Back. Oh. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's five. Keep going. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's six. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's seven. Keep going. Back. Keep that low back strong. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. I think that's eight. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. Nine. Last one. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's 10. Oh, man. Those are some reverse hip guards. We have just done one of the legs. So we got one more leg. We're 75% of the way through all of our hip guards, including the forwards. And if you're really tired, that's okay, because we only got one left. Let's go. Let's go. Whew. Stand up straight. Keep those muscles tight. Hold on to something for support if you need it. And let's begin. Bring that leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel the stretch here in the hip flexor. Lift that leg up directly to the side. Oh, get your leg to horizontal. Then rotate. Bring that ankle up. Up, 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 up. Bring the ankle all the way down. That's the easy part. And then bring the knee forward. I got a little cracking craziness going on in this hip that I've had for as long as I can remember. It went away for like several months, and all of a sudden it's back. I wonder if it's because I'm in cold weather now, and my hips are like, hey, it's cold again. Return of the hip crack. Oh, man, that was a loud one. All right, let's continue. That's two. Back. side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's 3, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 4, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 5, keep going, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 6, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 7, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 8, back, side. We're almost done. Focus on contracting those muscles. Don't give up. Make the last rep count. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Oh, man. Whew. I'm sweating. Those are reverse hip cars. That is our first warm-up exercise. If that sounds crazy, don't worry. We do those for a long time to make sure everybody's got time to get in and start working those hips, get a little bit of a sweat going, getting some muscles loosened up. And I think it's time to get into our second warm-up exercise. If you're just joining in, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of hip mobility and side split stretching. We'll get to the side split stretching, but right now we're doing mostly hip mobility. And we do this every single day. So make sure to come back and train with us if you need some consistency in your life. All right, let's go. We are folding into this L shape. And we're chilling. We're breathing. If you have old low back pain, low back discomfort, you might be feeling a whole bunch of tension in your back right now. That's fine. Just chill and breathe. Relax. Let your body realize, hey, this is okay. Everything's fine. Ooh. And when you're starting to feel it build up in your hamstrings instead of in your low back, we are ready to add some movement. All right? We're going to bend one knee. We're going to straighten out the other leg. We're going to keep on trying to bring that belly button down into the ground. Oh, now you're going to feel a crazy hamstring stretch. All right? You might feel it in the glutes or just below the glutes as well. That is where your hamstrings turn into tendons and where your tendons attach into your pelvis. So that's why you're feeling it. From here, we're going to switch the leg that's bent, and we'll keep on switching from side to side. Oh, all right. Okay. Keep on switching. Left and right and left and right and left and right and left and right and left. Oh, and right. Keep on switching. Focus on bringing that belly button down into the ground. And as you do these, you might notice that your calves are a little tingly. What the heck? Your toes maybe a little tingly. That is often the result of something called nerve flossing or nerve stretching or nerve gliding. And basically, you're forcing your nerves to move around inside your body. And that might sound a little weird. You can Google it later. Cool? All right, let's continue. Hopefully, you've gotten to the point where these aren't feeling as bad as when they started. You're like, oh, okay, I can do more of these. This isn't so bad. And once you've got that confidence, it's time to destroy it. I want you to fold that belly button down a little bit deeper. And I want you to keep going. Keep going. Oh, man. Ah. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Pop into a little bit of squat. Oh, come back into standing. When we fold over for a long time, it tends to be the case that the back muscles get a little bit too relaxed. It's probably unlikely for us because we're doing a lot of movement, right? But there's an off chance where the same reason why I had us just lean forward and relax to let the low back release tension before we started doing the movement, that same principle applied to the more extreme end means your low back muscles start taking too much of a break. So when you come back into standing, they go a little crazy, and that's not helpful because we're trying to do stuff. So when you pop into a little bit of a squat right before you come into standing, it gives a chance for your body, for your back to go, hey, okay, I'm awake, I'm all right. And we get right back into whatever you gotta do. So make sure to add in that squat whenever you've done a whole bunch of folding forward, just to give yourself a quick wake-up call for the spine. All right, let's continue. What are we doing? We're going to move on into part 2 of that position. But instead of working on the hamstrings directly, we're going to work a little bit on our spine, okay? The spine is designed to move in a lot of different ways. Side to side, back and forward, and rotate. We don't do very much rotating these days in normal life, so we're going to add in some rotations right now. What I want you to do is I want you to bend one leg, straighten the other, just like before. Keep the feet relatively close together and fold your belly button down. Once you're in this position, super familiar, you're feeling that hamstring tightness, I want you to take your hand from the bent knee side. I want you to reach across the body to the straight leg side, and I want you to push against the outside of the straight leg, that calf right here. And I want you to go whoop, 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 and open up that chest. Whew. I want you to extend your arm up into the air as high as you can. I want you to rotate your neck so that the corner of your eye is looking at that hand. Reach that arm over your shoulder behind you. When you can't reach any further, I want you to take a small breath in and exhale and reach a little further. Oh, try that. Make sure you do the inhale, exhale, and reach a little further because it will make a huge difference. You'll probably be surprised. All right, we're switching to the other side. Other leg bent, other leg straight. Fold. Reach the bent leg arm across the body. Push open that chest. Oh, reach the arm up. I talk fast. That does not mean you need to move fast, all right? This is supposed to be relatively gentle. Should feel like a nice stretch. If you have sharp, intense sensations, maybe don't do these, okay? Continuing. Open that chest up and extend that arm. Take a look at those fingers. So your neck is also rotated, and reach, 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 reach. Breathe, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. That inhale is a very small, little itty bitty inhale, and I want you to be careful because when you're doing a whole bunch of inhales, a whole bunch of exhales, you might get too much oxygen to the brain and everything will start freaking out. We don't want that. So small little bits of inhale, and then release. Most of the time, there's way more air in your lungs than you know what to do with. And when you think you're exhaling, you're not remotely close to actually exhaling all the air out of your lungs. So you don't have to be a one-to-one. Like, you don't have to go inhale, and the exhale has to be the exact match of how much air you just inhaled. Okay? You can exhale usually way more air than you're inhaling. Cool? All right. Other leg. Knee bent. Straight leg. Reach. Push. Open. Breathe. Exhale. Reach. And come on back down. Other side. We're doing 5 of these in total. I believe this is number 2. Inhale. Exhale. Oh. 3 left. Let's do this. Bent leg. Straight leg. Bent leg arm across. Push. Open. Reach. Look at that hand. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Oh. Other side. Inhale. Exhale. That's 3. 2 more. Open. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. 4 and a half. Last 1. Bent leg, straight leg, push, open, breathe. 5. Other side. Breathe. And 5 is done. Whew. Hopefully, your spine is a little looser, a little bit more mobile than when we started. And maybe your shoulders are a little bit exhausted right now. This is probably the only time in your life you ever actually try to reach that far back. So, if you're feeling quite tired, that's okay. The good news is we don't do anything else for the shoulders for the rest of the show. Cool? So, you can just relax. From here, we're going to get into our 3rd warm-up exercise. All right? It is called the Cossack switch. I'm going to do a quick demonstration. You don't have to jump in right away. Take some time to wiggle, dance, get your back moving, relax your arms, whatever. From here, we're getting into the starting position. Starting position is going to look something like this. All right? We're going to try our best to have one leg out to the side, this heel down on the ground. We're going to try and sit as low and compact as possible. This is going to be a crazy position for a lot of people, all right? I'll show you alternatives in just a second. From here, we're trying to move our butts way over there to the other side, like that. We're going to pause here for half a second. We're going to try and squish deeper into the stretch, and then we're going to come back and squish deeper into the stretch. From the midpoint of your body onwards, you're basically already doing a side split. So we're doing a couple of half side splits. We're getting these muscles stronger, and then eventually when we actually do some side splits, you'll feel like a badass. All right? Let's talk about how to get into these for normal people. All right? What I want you to do is I want you to pop into sort of a deep squat. All right, I want you to hug your knees to your chest, and I want you to lean just a little bit forward so that your heels are coming off the ground. The reason for this is we want to stretch out this Achilles, we want to stretch out the calves, we want to bring our knees to our chest to get into this compact position. And that's because, let me see if I can hold this at an angle, because the Cossack switch is basically that position, right? We just extended one leg out to the side. And so we're pre-stretching those ankles, we're pre-stretching those hips with a little extra balance because we got both legs underneath us. So when you get comfortable, do a little tiny wiggle, do a little dance. When we're doing the actual Cossack switches, we're shifting our weight back and forth. We're going to be putting way more demand on those hips, on those legs. So you can add a little bit of movement right now, do a little dance, warm up. If you are able to sit here in a squat position with your heels down on the ground, you can do that. Most of us are going to be a little bit tight. It's going to be hard. That's why I recommend you lean forward, because if you start sitting back, most of us are going to just fall backwards. All right, and that's the opposite of the stretch that we're trying to do. So once you've hung out here for a little bit, your ankles are feeling that stretch, your Achilles tendon is all taut. I want you to breathe. Relax. If you're still hugging your knees and your hands are over here, I want you to stick your hands right down into the ground. Nice and easy. From here, we're going to extend that leg off to the side. The heel is down, all right? And we're going to figure out what to do with this leg. What I want you to do is focus on one main thing. I want you to keep this heel down. Having the heel down is going to help you stay stable. We're doing a lot of movement. There's a lot of balance required. So we want stability to be at its maximum, at least the stability that you can control, all right? And for some of us, that might mean you have to be pretty high up in this squat position. For some of you, you might be able to squish really low. Great. Whatever the situation, it's all part of the process and it's all good. So what we're doing from here, we're trying to scoot our hips over to the other side. If you're higher up, this might be more straightforward because you got more control over these muscles when they're higher up. But if you need a little bit of support, you can put your hands down. It will help a little bit with balance. It will help a little bit with stability. And you can also add those hands in even if you're super low to the ground. Some people have a lot of flexibility but not a lot of strength. And what we're building right now is both flexibility to get into these positions and also hopefully the strength to control it. So what I want you to do is put your hands down, scoot your butt over to the other side, breathe, chill, and relax. All right, that's basically the whole thing. We're gonna do like 10 of these and then we'll be done with this warm-up exercise. Let's go. Heels down, as compact as you can. Put your hands down for balance if you need it. Scoot your butt over, sit down, contract, come on back. That's one. Keep going. Over and back. That's two. And over and back. That's three. And over and back. That's four. If you want to try this without putting your hands down, feel free to not put your hands down. If you're feeling like even those are easy, you got this. We're going to shift our balance just a little bit. We're going to sit up a little bit straighter and continue. You might need to extend your arms out in front of you to help counterbalance. I think we just did 6, by the way. And you can pretty much almost always keep standing up straighter. All right. Oh, I think this is 7. 8. If your knees are getting a little uncomfortable, sort of in this in-between stage right here, you can focus on coming up first, coming across, and then sitting down. So you get the benefits of that deep squished position, but because you're higher up, there's a little less pressure on the inside of your knee. This is 9, I think, and this is the last one. Squish, 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 squish. See if you got deeper today. I mean, compared to when you started, you should be much deeper. And 10. Oh, that is our Cossack switches. If your legs are super tired, that's okay. That was the goal. We were trying to warm up, get all the muscles prepared, all the hips and joints and stuff sweaty and ready for some stretches. All right? If you came in super cold and I set you up to do a whole bunch of stretches, you probably weren't going to make very much progress because you would have been cold. So now that we've warmed up and our muscles are prepared for some stretches, it's time to get into the stretches. The first stretch that we're going to do is a hamstring stretch, all right? And I recommend you go right now, grab something to pad your knees. The way we set up the hamstring stretch is going to look like this. We're going to have one knee on the ground, one leg out in front. We're going to fold our belly button down into that leg. Ta-da! All right. So I recommend go grab something nice and soft. It could be dirty towel from the laundry that hopefully doesn't smell too bad. You can just roll it up, stick it under your knee, and you're ready to go. Could be couch cushions, decorative pillows, your dog's bed, old flip-flops, shoes that you don't care about. Stick around your knee. That little bit of foam will do all the work. Cool? Oh, while you go grab those things, grab a sip of water, everybody else. And I'll remind you that we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is currently not 9 p.m. Eastern. It's closer to 9:30 probably a.m. Eastern. And that's because on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, we do bonus lives and we start our days with the stretches rather than end the day with our stretches. Okay? The most important thing that we care about is consistency. If you can't get any of the exercises done at the level that I'm demonstrating, that is totally normal. I have been doing some version of this live for like 400 plus days. There's footage, documented real footage of where I started, and it's not where I'm at right now. So I'm also growing and changing with you guys while we do the lives. And I want you to know that this consistency practice thing that I'm doing is keeping me accountable. And hopefully it'll help keep you a little bit more accountable to yourself as well. All right? That's enough rambling. If you like the show, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. If you don't like the show, then, I mean, you're still here, so you should still follow and still subscribe. But if you haven't decided, that's okay. We got plenty of more time for us to do some stretches. We're getting to the hamstring stretch. Drop your knees down into the ground, like so. All right, onto your cushion. This is how we are going to take a look at our hips. We want our hips to maintain this squared up position for as much as possible. All right. Oftentimes, when we get into that first stretch, you're going to be tempted to push this leg way far forward and feel like you're getting a crazy front split stretch going. That's not what we're trying to do. It's a good stretch, but it's not what we're trying to do. We're focusing on the hamstrings, right? What happens when you push this leg out really far forward is oftentimes you're going to have one hip way back there and one hip way out here, and your whole body is going to start twisting, okay? That twisting is fine. It's not a big deal, but we don't want that. Not right now. We're focusing on the hamstring stretch. And if you start acting on all these other muscles at the same time, this hip is starting to get tense, this hamstring is starting to get tense, you're going to just distract yourself from the real important stuff, and that is our hamstring stretch, okay? So, check out your hips, check out where they're at, try your best to keep them here. Next, I explain a lot for the first rep especially. So if you have a leg that you know is less flexible than the other, start with that. My left leg has an old injury, so it takes me way longer to get deep into the stretch. And that's why I'm starting with my left leg, even though I really want to start with my right leg. Every single time I have to switch over to this leg because I remember I want to start with this leg. Okay, from here, your hips are squared, your leg is in front of you. If you're immediately off balance, you're like, whoa, what's going on? You can try to widen your stance a little bit. Not too much, but, you know, a little bit to help you with balance is good because falling over is not worth it. From here, we're ready to begin. Focus on this belly button. Bring it down to the floor, or at least fold it down into your thigh. All right? Whee! Boom. That's it. That's the whole stretch. I'm going to rotate so you don't have to stare at the top of my head for the next, like, 5 minutes. And you don't have to move because I cannot see the top of your head. So, let's go. Hips are squared, folding forward. Now you are feeling that hamstring stretch. Whew. Aha. Whew. Breathe. Try to relax. If your heels are working really hard right now, relax your foot. Imagine your calves relaxing. Imagine your glutes relaxing. Imagine your low back relaxing. And hopefully your reality will match your imagination at some point and you'll just be relaxing. Whew. Breathe. Exhale. Relax. Exhale. Hopefully you got a tiny bit deeper into the stretch. That wasn't the intention. The intention was just to have you relax, but hopefully, you know, those work together. From here, we're going to do a big inhale, exhale, and then we're going to fold at the same time as we exhale. What does that mean? We're going to take a big breath of air in, inhale. I don't want you to inflate like a balloon and just pop up, so try to keep your body where it started when you started inhaling. And then I want you to exhale slowly, and while you exhale, I want you to focus on bringing that belly button down to the thigh. All right? Ready? Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. your hamstrings are now way tighter, feeling way intense. Do the same thing. Relax the feet, relax the calves, relax the glutes, relax the low back. Try to chill as much as you can. Breathe. Get used to this tightness, get used to this position. If your brain is not letting you stop thinking about how uncomfortable this is, take your fingers, massage your hamstrings, distract your brain. Everything is a-okay. Just chill. Breathe. Nice and deep and slow. And a note here. If you are focusing on bringing that belly button down when we're folding, great. If you are trying to stick your face into your knee and you're turning yourself into a little ball, that is working too hard. This stretch is not about your neck. It's not about your upper shoulders, up your back. It is about the hips folding forward, pulling on that hamstring. All right? So don't put all that extra bending force down into the ground. That'll just make you very tired and might hurt your back a little bit. Cool? All right. We're going to do one more inhale, exhale, fold. I hope you're ready. This is the last one. Don't worry. Come on. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Bring that belly button down. That is our stretch. Oh man, my left hamstring is super tight today. Oh, stab your fingers into your hamstrings. Massage them, distract your brain from the sensation of your muscles being oh so tight. Breathe, relax the toes, calves, feet, glutes, low back, and we're ready to go. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Keep on trying to bring the belly button down into the ground. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. I know you'll be tempted because the pain is so intense. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Oh man, 11, 10. Relax those muscles. Breathe. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, bring that leg in. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to, and we're done with the first leg. We got a whole nother leg to do. Don't worry, I don't explain as much on the second leg, so this will go just a tiny bit faster. Drop the knees, square up the hips, extend that leg out in front. Get ready to fold that belly button down. Whee! Now you're stuck. From here, breathe, relax, focus on letting the hamstrings go. Oh, notice where your body is positioned right now, okay? This is where you would start if you were doing another show with somebody else, and you're like, just fold into a hamstring stretch for 30 seconds. And that's pretty good, it's fine. But we're going to take some extra time to get you deeper into the stretch so you get the most out of your 30 seconds when we actually do them. It takes a little bit longer than 30 seconds to do, okay? We're going to inhale, exhale, fold. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Imagine that your spine is getting pulled and you're lengthening and you're reaching really far forward while you're doing this. If your back straightens out a bit, great. If you're not trying to punch your knee into your face, I guess if you're not trying to knee your face, then that's also great. Cool? From here, breathe, relax. You might feel some tingly sensations returning to your toes, your feet. Just flop, relax. Oh. And we're going to do one more inhale, exhale. Y'all ready? Inhale. Exhale and fold. All right, we are in our stretch. It's time. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28. Keep on breathing nice and slow on the exhale. See if you can relax deeper into the stretch. 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Imagine there is a magic string attached to the top of your head and it's pulling you, lengthening your spine as you fold forward. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Come on out of that stretch. Hopefully, after a couple of rounds of that inhale, exhale, fold, taking the time to really bring yourself into that deeper stretch, you've realized you're way more flexible than you thought. You just need a little bit of warm up, okay? That's it. That's our hamstring stretch. We're gonna move on. That cushion you were just using, you're gonna toss it. We don't need it anymore. We are gonna move on into the second stretch now. It is called the butterfly stretch. What I want you to do is sit your butt up against the wall so that your low back, your shoulders, your head are resting against the wall. All right? Once you got this nice posture, maybe you're hot, maybe you're sweating and the wall is cold because it's, cold outside and your walls are cold. That'll help cool you off. Chill, relax. And from here, we are taking our feet, we're bringing them together, and we are pulling them into our groin. This is the butterfly stretch. The goal of the butterfly stretch is to stretch out the groin muscles right here. All right? The way we do that is by bringing your knees down into the ground. I want you to get stronger. I want you to have control over every position that you get into. So what I want you to do, I want you to try to use your outer thigh muscles. I want you to use your glutes to help pull your legs open. All right? If this is your first time joining and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? Those muscles do what? That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just focus on bringing your knees down into the ground. And as long as they're moving that direction, or they look like they were moving that direction and they got stuck, you're doing the right thing, all right? As long as you're feeling the stretch build here in the groin area, you're doing the right thing. The only way you can mess this up, I think, is if your knees start coming up into your chest, and that's just the wrong way. So use your other muscles. From here, we have tried our best to bring our knees into the ground using our own muscle power. Now we're gonna use some support from the outside. We're gonna take our hands, we're gonna push into the legs, all right? When you do this, you're gonna start feeling a whole bunch of pressure in the back of your head, maybe in your shoulders. That's because when your arms are pushing down into your legs, they're also pushing your back into the wall. And that's why we're using the wall, so that you don't fall backwards when you try to do this. That's it. You're in a deeper stretch. Contract those muscles, use the outer thighs, the glutes, push your arms into your legs and feel that pressure on the back of your head. We're good. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Keep on breathing, relaxing as much as you can, as much as the suffering allows. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. There's like a dust bunny near my nose. I need to sneeze. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 is gone. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let the hands go. Your wrists might be real tired from pushing deep into your legs. Now that they've let go, you might notice your knees have popped up a little bit. That's okay. It's all right. And try to relax the muscles in your hips. When you hold them for that whole 30 seconds, I should have told you don't have to hold them for the whole 30 seconds, but when you hold them for 30 seconds, all your other muscles start to stop working so well, all right? So it might take a second for you to be able to start moving your leg. By choice, again, you might need to shake out that leg and be like, hey, wake up, and hopefully your legs will return to normal. You'll be able to flap the wings of your butterfly in this butterfly stretch, and we'll be ready to move on into our third stretch, the pancake. So we're about to get into the hardest stretch of the whole entire thing. And come on up into standing for a second. Do a little wiggle, relax those hips, massage, pound, while we get ready to get into the pancake. I'm gonna take a quick second to scroll through the chat because I have not been at the chat for quite a bit and see how things are going, especially when I am way back against the wall so you can see my whole body doing things. I cannot see the chat at all. Margaret says this made me sweat. Amazing. I hope leaning against the wall helped you cool off too. Let's see. Alejandra asks, What time are the classes? We go live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is currently not 9 p.m. Eastern. We go live on the weekends, so Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern as well. So we started 40 minutes ago. Cool? And the regular time is, 12 hours after 40 minutes ago. Cool? Over here, Cody says, sorry, I have to leave. Hey, no worries. I'm glad you were here. You were able to try it out for a little bit. Next time, maybe you can make a little bit more time. Cool. We got a compliment on the floors. Nice, beautiful wood floors. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Lots of sanding, lots of polishing, lots of wax to keep it nice and clean. Allison says, hey, do you do personal coaching? Send me a DM, and I will talk about what you think you need, and we can see if there's something I can do for you. Camilla says, oh man, I tried my knees too bad for this one. Oh no, I wonder what it is that you were working on that was bad for your knees. Was it the hamstring stretch where you had the knees on the ground and that was what you were struggling with? If that's the case, we're gonna get into the pancake growth soon. I'm just gonna one last thought. If you are struggling because you cannot put your knee down on the ground for the hamstring stretch, right? You can do this totally from a standing position or from a seated position. Oftentimes, if you're in a seated position, that is plenty to start with, right? If I just rotated my leg down, this would be the kneeling position. But if I keep my leg up, it's perfectly fine to start from here. I find that when you're kneeling, it's easier to push your chest forward to get into that forward fold, to get into a deeper stretch. So I usually recommend dropping down onto one knee. Also, I prefer doing the class with as few tools and as few things as possible, keeping it very normal things that you find at home so that everybody can jump right in. So I often do that version with the knee on the ground. But this is a hamstring stretch. The main thing is that you bring your belly button down to your thigh, all right? You can totally, absolutely do a version where you're just standing and leaning forward. And realistically, this might be the version where you feel the most intense stretch because your upper body is closer to horizontal and gravity is pulling it down. So that might be even more effective for you than the kneeling one. That's it. We're gonna move on. Pancake stretch. Let's go. The pancake stretch looks a little bit like this. We're gonna open up our legs decently wide, have them down on the ground, and we're gonna fold this belly button down towards the ground. Whee! That's our starting position, all right? From the side, it looks like this. It looks like we're just trying to touch our toes, except our legs are a little bit wider, okay? If you are the type of person that you needs a very specific number to aim for, you can aim for like 90 degrees. That's plenty, all right? If you don't care about those details as much, then open as wide as you want. If you are feeling a painful sensation in the hips right here, you've gone too far. Bring your legs back a little bit. And we're ready to begin. So we're here, just chilling, forward folding. You can also do a variation of this with your butt seated on a chair, a stool, something that hopefully won't slide out from underneath you. So you can try that if you'd like and you want to make the stretch a little bit easier. But for most people, I recommend that we try our best in the standing variation because we build some muscle at the same time, okay? So here we are. This is a hard stretch. The goal, ultimately, is to fold our bodies in between our legs, and I can only go like that far, especially without warming up even more. So, because it's so hard, we want to get as many tools as possible to help us get into a deeper stretch. One of those tools that's around us 24/7 all the time is gravity. What I want you to do is try to keep that back nice and long, nice and horizontal, or as close to horizontal as you can, because that is where you're going to feel it the most in your hips. All right? If you extend your arms long so that your biceps are by your ears, you're going to feel that stretch even more intensely. And it's going to feel like it's pulling you down. Oh, ha, 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 ha. That is what we want. We want gravity working its butt off for our butt. Okay? That's it. That's the whole thing. Bring the belly button down into the ground as low as you can. If you want, you can open up your legs wider while you're doing this. Keep on folding. If you feel like your face is about to smash into the floor and this is scary, you can stick your butt back and see if that helps counterbalance you a little bit. Brings your back up a little bit straighter, and now gravity is working harder for you anyway. Perfect. All right, I hope that's enough information to get us started. Let's begin. Bring that belly button down. Fold forward, extend your butt out, deepen that stretch, breathe, don't hold your breath, 30 seconds, let's go, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. If there's ever a point where it looks like I'm doing a stretch that's way too crazy for you, I promise all of the instructions I gave are totally applicable to a less intense version of the stretch. The stretching that we do on this show is literally all the stretching that I do in my personal life. So I try to make the stretch effective for me as well. And because I've been doing this live for forever at this point, I might be a little bit deeper than you if you've never done one of these stretches before. If you're like a dancer or a gymnast and you got like a specific background of being super stretchy and strong, that might not be the case. But for most normal people who've never done a stretch like this before, I have several hundred days of more experience on you doing this daily, all right? So don't be intimidated. All the instructions I gave were the exact same instructions I was using for the last couple hundred days. All right, story time over. I think we gotta be at least 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Crawl. Pull your legs in underneath you. You might need to do something that looks like a wiggle between your toes and your heels and your toes and your heels. And grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. Slowly waddle your way into something that resembles standing. And shake, move, waddle, do something to regain some function in your hips and in your hamstrings, all right? While you're doing those things, let's talk about, or I'm going to tell you about why that struggle bus is so full of struggle. When we do the standing pancake, there's two main muscles that we're really focusing on. One of them is the inner thigh muscles. These are called the adductors. So add as in like math, adding, adductors. And their job is to pull your leg to the center of your body, a little past center, when they contract. So when you're doing the opposite, when you're throwing that leg way out over there, they're getting stretched. And for the standing pancake, the variation that I recommend we all do, when you're in this position, your muscles don't feel like you're flexible enough to go all the way down to the side split, obviously, and that's why they're, get stuck here, right? But that means there's some innate contraction happening in your muscles to keep you from flopping into the ground. And the longer you hang out in this position, the deeper you are in this position, the weaker those muscles tend to be. So they're working really hard. They're working super overtime trying to keep you stable while you're stretching for the pancake. So these inner thigh muscles, they're getting stretched and they're contracting at the same time. And it sounds crazy, but that is some biology muscle magic right there. And we won't get too deep into that. The other place where you're going to feel the stretch is in the hamstrings, right? We did a whole bunch of hamstring stretching, and I talked about folding forward, how to increase the intensity of that stretch, right? It doesn't matter if your feet are directly together in front of you and you're folding forward, like we did in our hamstring stretch, or if your legs are wide. As long as your hips are folding forward, your hamstrings attach basically to the bottom of your butt, right? It's the bottom of your pelvis, it's your sits bones, but they're like right here. So when you fold forward, the bottom of your pelvis comes up and it forces the stretch into a longer position. The further forward you fold the hips, the higher up your butt goes, the more intense your hamstring stretch. It doesn't matter if your legs are together, if your legs are apart, if you're folding your hips forward, your hamstrings are getting involved. And because that pancake is so intense here, we spend extra time in that first hamstring stretch where we suffered for forever to make sure your hamstrings are chilled out, lengthened, so that you can just, focus most of the suffering on the inside muscles. Cool? Hopefully, you're feeling a little bit more relaxed now, because I talked for so long about some muscles and anatomy stuff. Let's get into our fourth stretch. Yesterday night, we did the pigeon, so I think it's time for some figure four. Both stretches look a little bit like this. We're taking the leg, we're crossing it over, we're making this thing that looks kind of like the number 4, right? And that's why it's called the figure 4 stretch. We're bringing that ankle up towards your belly button, and we're bringing our belly button towards that ankle. When you get into this position, you should feel the stretch building in the side of your hip. You might also feel it down here. This would be your outer thigh muscle, but from this angle it's underneath your thigh. You might feel it in your hamstrings, but from this angle it's the inside. And you might feel it here a little bit in the hip flexor as well. We got two options that you can do, either the pigeon or the figure four. I just happen to demonstrate one of the skills on any given day, and today I'm demonstrating the figure four. So if you're a regular, you know exactly what you like, what you want, go ahead and hop into it, and I'm gonna do some figure four for everybody else. Okay, for the figure four, we are taking this leg, we're crossing it over to the other side. Boom. This triangle right here, we're sticking our hand through, and we're sticking our hand around, and we're pulling that knee in towards our chest. Oftentimes, you'll be like, oh, this is an intense stretch immediately, and you haven't even moved yet. All right? What I want you to do is not believe in that propaganda your body is sending to you, and I want you to pull that knee into your face. Pull. Breathe a little bit. 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 You don't have to do nearly as many pulls as I just did. I'm just saying that if you pull a little bit and you realize, hey, this isn't so bad, I can hold on to this, then you can try a little bit more, okay? When it gets to a crazy point, you're like, I really can't do anymore, that's a perfectly good reason to stop. But your brain is going to trick you. It's going to try and tell you that you're not capable of what you are actually capable of. And so I want you to push the envelope just a little bit, okay? Oh, all right, we've held this for a long time. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. However, if you're pulling, you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure on your knee. It's getting really uncomfortable. You can do a small change. You can cup the knee and pull on the knee directly and apply some pressure there, and it'll take the pressure off of the knee joint when you're just pulling on the ankle, okay? So pull that knee in directly. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. When I lie down on the ground and I look at the camera, oftentimes I accidentally stare into the light source, and now I have rings of light in my eyes while I'm staring at the ceiling, and I'm dizzy now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep on pulling those legs in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh! Relax everything down onto the ground. You can drop your arms off to either side and try to let your hips fall from side to side. Keep your shoulder blades down, but you can let the legs fall from side to side. You might get a nice stretch here in the low back, in the mid back, and just chill for a second. You might also get a little bit of stretch here in the side of the glute. That's nice. Whew. All right, we're almost done. This is the fourth stretch. We got one more side to do in the pigeon, then we're gonna do some side splits. All right, let's go. Figure four, last leg. Other side, bring it across, reach the hand through the triangle, around the other leg, pull that knee into your face. Breathe for a second, pull a little bit harder. Breathe for a second, pull a little bit more. Breathe for a second and pull. Pull, 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 pull. And I think we're ready. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28. While you're laying down like this and you're trying to relax your muscles, it's very easy for you to get complacent, get a little sleepy, let your arms relax. That is not what we want to do. You get all of your stretch from your arms not relaxing. So pull on that leg. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Again, if your knees are feeling a lot of tension, you can cup the knee directly and pull on it. You will actually feel a more intense stretch in your glute that way, and that is perfectly good to do. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh! Relax. Flop your arms out. Stabilize your shoulders on the ground. Let the hips drop to the side. You might get a nice little crack in your spine. Oh. And once you've let your hips fall from side to side for a second there, we're about ready to get into our fifth and final stretch. We're going to do some side splits. All right, let's go. Come on up. Oof. If you've joined in somewhere in the middle and you're like, what is this guy doing on the floor? This is crazy. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. And we do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. I try to bring good vibes to the internet so that we can all suffer on the floor and have it be almost enjoyable. And if you need help with consistency, if you like or want to work on your hamstrings, work on your hips, then this is a cool place to be. Come hang out, hit follow, hit subscribe, get notified, and keep coming back. We do this live every day at 9 p.m. and on the weekends, which is right now, 9 a.m. Eastern, which is like 50 minutes ago when we started. Cool? Okay. Side splits. I recommend you stand 8 to 12 inches in front of a wall for this whole entire stretch. And the reason is because when you are working on the side splits, a lot of the time you're going to get into like these weird, funky positions that you don't really have much control over, right? If you had control over them, your body would let you hang out in that position a little bit more, but you don't have control. And that's why your body's like, heck no, you are not going there. And what we are doing is trying to push our limits so that our body goes, oh, okay, maybe we do have control. Anyways, we don't have control. And when you're trying to get into these crazy positions, you're like wobbling, you're like squishing yourself, you're shifting your butt back and forth. Oftentimes, you lose balance, you start falling backwards. If you are not right up against the wall when you start falling backwards, you're going to fall on your butt, it's going to smash into the ground, it's going to hurt. But if you have a wall right here, right behind you, you're going to fall backwards. You're going to be like, oh, hey, look, I didn't fall very far. All right? And that's what we want. We want you to feel safe so that when you lose balance, if it happens, when it happens, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but if it happens, you're just chilling with your butt on the wall. Everything's fine. Cool? All right. Let's get into some side splits. We're opening up our legs wide as you can. But we do not want to feel discomfort here in the hips. All right? If you're feeling a pinching sensation here, if it's feeling a little uncomfortable, if it feels painful, bring your legs in. If you're feeling just the stretch in the inner thighs or something, that's not the same as the sensation in the hip, okay? If it's just here, you're fine. You can keep going. From here, now that your hips are not uncomfortable, we're going to take that belly button, we're going to fold it down into the ground. If you have not noticed yet, we do a lot of folding. And this might look just like the pancake we were doing. That is absolutely right. But from here, the differences are starting. I want you to try your best to put your hands down on the ground, all right? Imagine you're like a sumo going, Hurr. I don't know if that makes sense. Ignore that I said that. Put your hands down on the ground. You might not be able to reach comfortably. So you can elevate that hand. You can use a yoga block if you have those, some textbooks, things that you don't care about but feel like is valuable and you won't get rid of in your house. Use it as a fitness tool, all right? Stool is good, chair is great. From here, we're leaning and putting our weight into that hand, all right? What we're gonna do is support ourselves so that we can get this foot to rotate. I said foot to rotate, but I really meant the whole leg is going to rotate. But you're gonna see the foot most obviously, all right? What I want you to do is take this leg, bring it back 90 degrees. And what it's gonna look like is the foot is gonna come up, whoosh, the heel is down, the toes are up, the knees are now pointing straight up, your quad muscles are pointing straight up, okay? In this position, we've rotated the thigh bone so it doesn't smash into some of the bone infrastructure in your hips. And that means now all that's left that's holding your whole leg together is your muscles, which is what we want. We're trying to get some side splits. All right, do the same on the other side. Your other foot is rotated, pointed straight up into the air. And, the rest of the leg is going with it. Knees up, quads up, and, I get into these weird positions because I'm trying to demonstrate and show you what the leg is doing. You do not have to do like this crazy stuff where you sit up straight and have your hands flopping around pointing to things, okay? From here, with your hands still down on the ground or on the chair, whatever it is that you want to use, we're gonna sit into this stretch. We're gonna slowly get as deep as we can. And if you're newer in the stretch, it might be more helpful to have a stool to elevate your hands. Breathe, chill, hang out. this stretch is going to be really intense. If you're feeling a huge amount of pinchingness in your hips, focus on that foot. Focus on that leg. Keep on rotating it backwards and see if that helps reduce the tension and the pinching in your hips. All right. I think we're just chilling here for a little bit until you get into a deeper stretch. Do a little wiggle from side to side. Try to use that wiggle to break the friction holding your feet back. Scoot, 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 scoot. And that's it. That's our whole stretch. We're ready. We're in the side splits. This is crazy. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath, despite how intense this feels. 25. 24. 23. If you walk your hands forward, you're going to feel more of a stretch on the inner thigh muscles, the adductors that we've been talking about. If you walk your hands back towards your hips, you might fall backwards, so be careful. But also, you'll feel it more in your hamstrings. To get into the side splits, you need a combination of both. So feel free to switch it up. Do a little bit of everything. Focus on just one thing today. Focus on a different thing tomorrow. Oh, I forgot to keep count. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, we're almost done, 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward. Bring your legs in. Okay. Oh, man. That is our first side split. If you thought we were done, because the pattern of the whole rest of the show was we're just doing one and we're out of here, I got bad news. We're doing 3 rounds of side splits, and in between each of the rounds, we're going to come back into standing. We're going to shake out our legs. We're going to grunt. We're going to groan as we come back out of that position, and we're going to wiggle out, relax, dance out the tension. What we just did was put a whole bunch of tension in our legs, in our hips, and that's why your legs stopped working for a second, and you're like, What we're going to do now is shake out that tension. All right? I want you to stand mostly on one leg. You're going to hold on to something for balance, like the wall, if you need to. And I want you to flick your leg out, like you're just going whoosh, doing a crazy fast, like Bruce Lee snapping kick. All right? Snap, snap. What I want you to focus on is having that ankle be relaxed. So that's just flopping sort of all over the place. Okay? When your ankles are flopping all over the place, the muscles that control your ankle going up and down have to also be flopping and relaxing, going all over the place, all right? And that's what we want. We want as many muscles as relaxed as possible. So, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 flop, 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 and we want to turn into little blobs of soggy noodles, all right? Flop, 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 wiggle, 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 relax. Other leg. We're flicking out that leg like we're splashing water droplets from a puddle into somebody's face. And as you pick up the tempo, as you get more comfortable with the relaxation, you can drop the leg down. The rest of the leg can be lazy. You don't have to contract all those other muscles in order to have these muscles relax. Let them all relax as much as you can. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. The goal of this is to shake out the tension in the legs, all right? How you do it is not that important to me. What's important to me is that you understand what being loose, what being relaxed means. And so if I make funny jokes about being noodles or something like that, and you don't like that, and you don't like being noodles, you don't have to be noodles. Just focus on relaxing those muscles. I gotta solve a quick puzzle from TikTok because it thinks I'm a bot. And no, I failed the puzzle. Are you serious? Sometimes it's really embarrassing that I can't beat these super simple fill in the blank puzzles. You only have to drag in one direction. Anyways, where are we at? We just shook out both legs. Hopefully your legs are feeling looser now. We're gonna do a little bit for the hips. When your hips are doing, something crazy like this, these muscles get really intense. It's gonna be really hard for us to focus on just that muscle while we're doing the crazy motion, but it will help if you stand all of your weight on one leg, drop the ball of your foot or the big toe down on the other side, lean so all of your weight is in one leg, there's almost no weight here, and bring that knee in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. That gentle, light movement makes some of these muscles in the hip work, helps it to relax a little bit, and also makes us do cool things, like bring our knees in and out. If this starts looking like a dance move, you want to do some stanky leg, feel free to add it in, make the relaxation fun. Do the other side. And again, all of your weight is in one leg, almost no weight in the other. We are bringing that knee in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out. If you don't like stanky leg, you can do this thing where you combine both legs at the same time, do some more dance moves. I don't really remember how the hands are supposed to switch places to make it look cool. That's okay. From here, your hips are good. But if you want, you can take this to the next level and get some crazy floppy leg noodly thing going on. All the way in one leg, big toe down, lean really far forward, super relaxed leg, no weight on this leg. And you can start shaking super aggressively. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Now your leg looks like it's doing waves, and that is your whole entire thigh relaxing, your whole entire quad just shaking out and going crazy. Okay, so you don't have to figure that out today. Just know that it's possible, and when you're working on it, that's what relaxation could look like for you. All right. Oh, we went real deep onto all we can do to shake out our hips. Let's get back into some side splits. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of your wall. For most people, that's about 1.5 footsteps. Open up those legs. Breathe. Chill. I try to bring really high energy to the lives to keep us excited, to keep us motivated. But being super excited does not necessarily mean you get into a deeper stretch. All right? So relax, breathe. And when you're not feeling tension in your hips and you're also pretty deep into the ground, you're ready to fold. Bring that belly button down into the ground. Whee! Boom. If you can, put your hands down. If you can't reach, feel free to use a stool, use a yoga block, use some textbooks that you don't care about anymore but are too lazy to sell. And once you're here, focus on externally rotating the leg. All right. What that means is we're taking this whole leg, we're rotating the whole thing backwards, and your heels are going to be down, your toes are going to be up, your knees are pointing up, and we're going to do that on both sides. All right. From here, actually, I'm going to scoot as far back as I can so both feet are on camera. Boom. All right, that works. Whew. From here, we're just chilling for a little bit and see how deep we can get into the stretch. I want you to try to do a little wiggle from side to side. Try to push your legs out just a little bit. Breathe, relax. If you're really flexing your tibialis muscle, that's the muscle in front of your shin, right? And your toes are pointing straight up into the air. See if you can relax those. We're rotating the leg, and the toes pointing up is a marker that we're doing it right, but you don't have to keep the toes pointing up if you don't want to. All right? Relax the quads. Relax the hamstrings. Relax the glutes. Relax as many muscles as you can. Slowly drift down deeper into the stretch. The stool, elevating your hands is going to help keep your body weight more stable. And we're here. This is our stretch. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. As you breathe and exhale, imagine that you're relaxing deeper into the stretch. Do a little wiggle whenever you want. See if you can get just a little bit more. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that's it. Walk your hands forward. Oh. Flop on the ground if you need to. Bring your legs in together. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to, and that is our second side split stretch. If your heels are feeling a little bit uncomfortable from all the pressure we put on it when we get into this position where the leg is rotated backwards, feel free to grab some foam, put on some flip-flops, put on some slippers. As long as you have enough traction to not, accidentally slip out too far, go ahead and add a little cushioning for your heels. I needed them once, and I used to use these foam gym mats from Costco. At some point, my heels stopped hurting. They got giant calluses instead, which, if those don't sound attractive to you, you don't have to get big calluses. You can put on flip-flops, all right? You can put on some slippers. But once I got those, I stopped using the thing because I don't like having a whole bunch of extra floppy stuff all around. Okay, let's go. What are we doing? It's time to shake it out. Let's shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Stand, put all your weight into one leg. Flick that other leg around. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Again, this is all about relaxation. If you've been a regular, I've had a very systematic way of going. Flick the leg out aggressively like you're whipping your leg and sending droplets of water flying into the faces of your enemies. And we want the ankle and the calves relaxed so that you can get maximum whipping speed, right? But I don't know, it's not necessary to teach it that way. And if you can figure out how to get your ankles relaxed, get your calves relaxed, so they're just flopping all over the place, that is plenty. But if you like the childhood dreams of sending projectiles of water into your friends and family's faces going, wah, and being mean, I can go back to that. Just let me know. Okay, once your ankles are relaxed, once your calves are relaxed, you can start adding in a whole bunch of other movement, right? That same movement that we were doing, bring the legs in and out, you don't have to have your toes down to do it. You can do that from standing. You don't have to exaggerate it as much as I am for the sake of you being able to see the movement. If you add just a little bit of rotation while you're shaking out the leg, that is plenty, all right? Oh, hopefully your legs are relaxed, but now that you've tried so many other random things, because I keep on telling you stuff, maybe they're less relaxed than they began. And for that, I'm sorry. But we're going to continue. We're going to move on into our hips. We're going to stand all the way into one leg, drop the toe, a big foot. We're going to bring the knee in and out, 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 in and out. Other side, in and out, 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 in and out. Stanky leg, a couple times. Stanky leg. Bring the knees in. Do both sides at the same time. And hopefully your hips are relaxed. Let's go. Third and final side split stretch. We're standing 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. And let's begin. Open up those legs. Remember, we don't want a pinching sensation here in the hips. So if it's already feeling tingly, feeling a little painful, bring the legs back together. From here, we're folding that belly button down into the ground. And if you can, put your hands down. If you can't, elevate your hands. And we're ready to continue. We're rotating that foot so that the bottom of the foot is no longer on the ground. We're rotating the whole leg back, and now that foot is pointing up into the sky. All right, toes up, heels down, knees up. We're doing that on both sides. I'm gonna scoop my butt back as far as I can so you can see both feet. And if you get stuck right here, that's totally fine. This is a side split and you're doing great. All right, there's a really long time where I was stuck right here, and over time I want you to focus on relaxing, breathing, chilling as much as you can, slowly letting your hips drop deeper into the stretch. Relax the foot, relax the calves, relax the glutes, relax the hamstrings if you can, and you'll slowly, 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 slowly over the course of weeks drop down into a lower side split. Cool? So, here we are. There's our side split. This is our last one for today. And we're ready to begin. 30 seconds, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. If you've been holding yourself up with your arms locked out straight like this the whole time, I recommend you try bending your elbows. When you do this, you might find suddenly that the stretch just got way more intense. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is it. Walk your hands forward. Oh, bring your legs in. And we are done with our side splits for today. Hopefully, your hips are feeling okay. Maybe they need a little bit of a massage. You can stab your fingers into those hips. Shake, move, and we're gonna get back up. We're gonna relax those legs one more time so you're ready to go do whatever else you gotta do for today. Let's go. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ankle is relaxed, and by default, the calves have to be moving like crazy so that your ankles can flop around. See if you can start relaxing all the muscles in the top of your leg. Shake it out, relax. You are a soggy noodle. Other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Soggy noodle effect. Shake out the legs. Use those muscles that we've been training for the hips. Turn yourself into, I don't know, like a rope of something fun. Like a gummy straw. What are those called? Sour straws? Twizzlers. Twizzlers. You're a Twizzler. There we go. Okay. Moving on. Put all your weight into one leg. Lean into that leg. Drop the big toe of the other foot down. Shake out that leg. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. If you're just beginning, you can focus on the raw muscle performance, figuring out how to use those muscles. You can focus on opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, opening, whatever. As you get more comfortable, you have more command over those muscles. You can pick up the speed. You can relax the leg more, and your leg can turn into jello as the muscles shake and flop. And of course, if you want to make it fun, you can add in some stanky leg. You can add in all the other cool dance moves, because at the end of the day, this is about consistency. If you have a little bit more fun while you're practicing consistency, it's going to be more enjoyable. You're going to want to come back just a little bit more. So make it fun. All right. I think that means our hips are done. We're going to do a couple of quick joint checks, do a last final challenge to make sure everything's working well together, and then we'll be ready to wrap up. I'll sit down and look at the chat and see what I've missed. What are we doing? We're going to start with hip circles. Why don't you slowly, almost a hula hoop, work on that hip mobility. Feel the outside of the left hip. Fold. Right hip, hip flexors, keep going. Right after I do the side splits, I tend to feel the most tension right here on the left and right sides of the hips. So I like to hang out here for a little bit. If you want to, you can turn it into a whole entire oblique stretch by letting that whole entire side of your body, flop over. And if you got other places where you're feeling tension, give yourself a little bit of time. Give your muscles a little bit of love, and come on back up. Next, we're going to do a quick high knee. We did this to open. They should be fine, but we're just double checking. All right. From here, we're going to keep our legs relatively close together. If you can, I want you to experiment with spreading your toes as far wide as you can. Spread them and grip the floor. This will help a little bit with stability. It'll help a little bit with balance. If you can't quite figure it out, don't worry. It's not that big a deal. You'll be fine. But it's a cool new trick you can start working on. All right. From the side, what we are going to do is we're going to squat. I want you to bring your chest down into your knees as much as you can. And you might feel like you are starting to fall forward a little bit. That's okay. This is why we were spreading our toes, working those toes. Our toes should be working. They should be gripping the ground, keeping us stable when we lean forward a little bit. All right. And we're going to add some more torture to those toesies. We're going to bring our knees forward, push them as far forward as we can over the toes. We're going to get that Achilles tendon working, those calves stretched. You can start poking your calves to double check that they are indeed stretched out. And this is where we want to be. Your quads are probably firing. They're probably screaming at you going, are you going to do something? And we're going to do some calf raises. All right. You might want to put your hands down where you're a little bit more balanced. But if you can not do that. We're going to do some calf raises. Try to focus on bringing your weight up so that it's centered on that big toe, maybe in between the big toe and the index toe. I don't know if that has a different name than index toe. I've never really said that word before. And once you've done a couple of those, you can come out of it, and we're done. All right, what we just did is we forced our toes to work real well with the arch of the foot, gripping into the ground, gripping into the ground like I'm a crazy Tyrannosaurus Rex or something. And we worked that Achilles tendon, your calves. We worked the tibialis, pulling your knees forward. Worked on some of that knee mobility, testing your knee strength, quad, folding at the hips, the low back. Worked on all of those joints and muscles at the same time, and then made it a little bit more active with some calf raises, right? So if you're able to pull that off, you're able to sort of pull it off, you're probably doing pretty good. Your joints are working well with your muscles, and you're probably set to go do whatever else you gotta do for today, all right? So thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for practicing consistency, working on those side splits, working on hip mobility with me today. We do this live every single day, Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And on the weekends, which is right now, we have a bonus live at 9 a.m. That's what you just watched. Oh man, we've been running long. 81 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility. It's definitely not the 45, 60 minutes I keep on telling people that this is, but it's 80 minutes, okay? So, if you liked it, if you enjoy having a little bit of support to practice the hip flexibility, the hamstring stretching, that stuff that you need to move better, to hang out on the floor a little bit better, to chill and do things with your kids on the ground or grandkids, then keep coming back. We do this every single day. Whew. I think that's the rant. That's the ramble. Hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. All right? I'm going to come over. I'm going to check the chat real quick to see what I have missed, because I spend way too much time way back over there and I have no idea what's happening. Hopefully we got some good questions and things to respond to. All right. I'm going to go in reverse. Probably not the best idea. Actually, Make Me Resin says, good morning, I'm too late. Don't worry, you're never too late. Unless you came in right at the tail end where I was saying thank you for being here. Then maybe you are too late. But up until that moment in time, like 80 minutes in, you would not have been too late. All right, scrolling up. Oh, this name is hard to pronounce. EWNETN. Unetn Flega asks, what time do you start your morning lives? On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday mornings, it is at 9 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, that's an hour and 22 minutes ago when we started. Cool? Keep going. Travel Doxy says, good morning. Good morning. What else we got? That is an AI summary. Tyler says, good morning. Hello. In Pursuit of Simplicity, welcome back. For lumber, Lamile asks about wood. Maybe the lumbar spine, possibly. And I'm going to keep going because I have no idea what to respond to about that. Jen says, my poor back. What do we do that required a whole bunch of back stuff? I guess in the hamstring stretch, we're folding forward. In the pancake, we're folding forward. And, there's a lot of pressure to sort of flop into this neck forward position. Maybe that's what you're struggling with. But a lot of the exercises that we do, a lot of the positions that we get into actually requires quite a bit of spinal erector strength. Spinal erector are sort of these long muscles in the back that help you keep the back erect. The name is what it does. And when you're forward folded like this and you're trying to keep your back nice and straight, those muscles are indeed working. And you can sort of stick your fingers into your back towards that spine-ish area, and you can sort of feel when they're tense, when they're hard. Depending on how much shoulder mobility you have and how far back up your back you can actually reach, you'll be able to, determine different things, I guess. But your back is working hard for a lot of the stretches that we do. So I hope you're just tired and not that your back is going, and you're going to limp for the rest of the day. Mashinga Mamarena says, just came across this page for the first time. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the live, and I hope you had fun getting flexible. All right, keep scrolling. Margaret says she's from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Very cool. User 909461 asks, so it's twice a day on weekends? Yes, it is 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time on the weekends. All right, all right, all right. I think that's all the chat from up there. I've seen most of it, I think. So I'm going to come back down and we can see what's going on while I was responding to those. Make Me Resin says, awesome, amazing. Chase says, thank you. Travelers Roxy says, thank you so much. And Cece asks, for the side splits, can we bend our knees a bit? Please do boat pose. Okay, hold on. We're going to do those one at a time. Cece says, or Cece asks, can we bend our knees a little bit for the side splits? Yes, you absolutely can. When you bend your knees, you actually take a little bit of tension off of the hamstrings. And there is a slight concern. If the muscles around your knees are not super strong and you bend them, oftentimes you can put a whole bunch of pressure into different parts of your knees, like the inside of your knees, and that might cause you to be very uncomfortable. And it might cause your stretch to get a little funky. So most people don't talk about bending the knees very often because a lot of beginners are probably not going to have super strong muscles around the knees to support that bend when you do so. Okay? But it is perfectly doable if your body's ready for it. And if you don't just do it, freestanding, if you use your hands on the stool, if you elevate some of your body weight, reduce some of your body weight by putting it into your arms, it will make the burden a little bit easier on your knees. Okay? So when we're in that side split position, give me a second. I need a second to get into it. Whee! Okay, so when we're in that side split position and you're feeling a whole bunch of tension in your hamstrings, it's absolutely okay to give a slight bend in the knees, introduce a little tiny bit of movement. In fact, there's different forms of stretching. What we do here is mostly called static stretching. There's contract, relax style stretching, PNF style stretching, where you contract the muscles that you're working on, trying to stretch out, and that sort of shuts down a reflex in your brain, in your nervous system, so that you can get a little bit deeper into the stretch. For those, it is totally reasonable to do a little bit of movement to get your knees slightly bent. But just keep an eye on where you're bending and where you're putting a lot of pressure. If you are bending your knees and you're for the first time, and you're also trying to push yourself into the deepest possible stretch that you've ever been in for the first time, all at the same time, that might be a little bit dangerous. All right, because you've not proven to yourself that you have control of that position for your knees, and now you're trying really, really hard to get a little bit deeper, right? So if you are trying to find a quick hack to get into a deeper side split position, and you're just like finagling something together, that I do not recommend. All right. Because that is putting and introducing a whole lot more risk into the movement than you need to. And unnecessary risk doesn't make sense because you need your knees working. All right. You gotta function in daily life. Your splits for 99.99% of the population is not nearly as important as being able to walk and do whatever else you gotta do for the rest of the day. All right. So don't take unnecessary risks. What else? Betty asked for a boat pose. But before I get into the boat pose, I'm going to check to see if there's any response to my comments about bending the knees slightly. I do not see anything. Okay. Man. Let's do some boat pose. We are doing I think, maybe it's a yoga pose. In this boat pose that Betty loves a lot for some reason. And I humor as well. We are working on our core strength, okay? And this core strength is applicable to a whole bunch of skills that I otherwise like to do. One of them being the L-sit. And I can't demonstrate the L-sit with what I have in front of me. So the L-sit looks kind of like this, right? Part of the strength necessary to do the L-sit, other than pushing your arms down, is keeping the core nice and tight and compressed forward and holding up your legs. Same main muscles we're going to use for the boat pose, but instead of lifting our body up, we're trying to balance while holding up our legs. And it kind of looks like this. We're going to try and have a nice and straight back. We're going to lean back slightly. We're going to pull our knees in towards our chest, and we're going to sort of balance on our butts. All right, like so. Boom. This is a very beginner boat pose. When you're ready to elevate it, when you're ready to make it more difficult, you can extend the lever. We kind of talked about levers for a second doing the pancake fold. When you extend your arms past your ears, that lever suddenly makes everything feel really, really hard. It's the same thing for the boat pose. If your legs are bent, the lever is shortened, it should feel a little bit easier. But if you want it to feel harder, you can just start extending those legs, and it gets a lot harder. Your quads are gonna fire. They're gonna be really unhappy for you in your hip flexors, in your legs over here, and the longer you hold it, the more likely you are to shiver and shake and not be able to do anything at all. And from the front, it's gonna just look like feet. From the side is challenging. Keep those abs tight. Keep the legs nice and tight. And that, I have no idea how many seconds that was, but that was some boat pose. Whew. Ah, man, after doing those, you might benefit from stretching out the hip flexor. For most people, the hip flexor right here is going to be causing you a lot of problems. All right? And if you've watched the hip cars that I do in the very beginning, you know that I talk about lifting the knee as high as possible, open up the hips as much as possible, rotating the leg, bring the leg down and back. You might notice that when I bring the leg down and back, I don't go very far. The knee's like 3 inches behind the other knee, maybe like 6, right? And I have really tight hip flexors, these muscles. So I've never really been good at flicking the leg back. Like ballet dancers when they like do something from the bar and they're like, wee, wee, and then the leg goes like way up high into the air and you're like, what the heck? That is often limited by these muscles in the front of your hip. And when you do something that is the opposite of opening, like, squishing and compressing, these muscles are working extra bonus hard and getting really strong. And if they're really strong, it's going to make it even harder for you to bring your leg back. So, what does that mean? That means more likely than not, I should probably just get to a bar and do some leg lifts here and there while I'm distracted watching YouTube or TV or something, just to strengthen some of these muscles in the back of my leg. But also, what is relevant and impactful for most people in general is after you do that, it pays in dividends to stretch out that hip just a little bit, square up the hips, strengthen that spine, ab situation, your core, and kind of lean into that stretch out the hip flexor, and get some hip looseness. The main thing that's going to hold most of us back from a front split is this leg not going backwards, right? If you can sit up at like a 90-degree angle, that's the same angle that you need for a front split, right? The main thing holding you back for most people is this back leg. And so if you want to work on those, we don't have a live for that, but maybe we'll add it in someday when I actually get the side splits. Anyways, that is a whole bunch of rambling. I'm gonna come back to the chat and see what is going on. Stephanie says, I like your humor and how you explain movements. I started following. Do these exercises help hip shift? Thank you, Stephanie, for the compliment. I appreciate it. I try to be entertaining so that we can make stretching a little bit more fun, because otherwise you're just suffering on the floor and it's not very exciting, and it's just painful. So you don't want to do more. And that is the opposite of our goals, right? Do these exercises help hip shift? I am not sure what that sentence or that question means, but I'm going to interpret, and we're talking about hip stuff. The hips connect your upper body and your lower body, right? Like they're the centerpiece that balances balance. And so they're able to do a whole bunch of crazy things. And when you combine both things together, you can do, hip circles. You can lift like one hip up, one hip down. You can start dancing and making life more fun. You can also, when you have control over your hips a little bit, you can do that twerking, right? Most of it is coming from the low back, so it's not exactly twerking. But what else? posterior pelvic tilt and anterior pelvic tilt. Oftentimes when we get into positions we're not quite strong enough or flexible enough for our hips, do something like this, or like that, or like this, or like that. If it looks like twerking, it's basically, twerking but not actually intentionally twerking, right? Twerking is bringing your hips back and forth. When you have really tight muscles or you're stuck in a certain position for a long time, sometimes your muscles will get real tight in one area, and oftentimes it's this one where you have this great big arch in your spine and your booty is popping out, and this puts a lot of pressure on your low back. If you're practicing along with me and somehow holding this position for some reason, you'll know you can feel a little bit of pressure here in the low back. So a lot of people are unconsciously holding something like this. I'm exaggerating, obviously, for you guys to see the difference, but a lot of people, for example, might rest like this, right? Their belly kind of like comes out just a little bit, and this is their hanging out position. They're just standing, and it's like this. And that also puts a whole bunch of pressure on the low back. So if you're wondering one day, like, oh man, why is my low back always achy? All I did was just stand around for a second. That might be part of the reason. The hips and their relationship to the rest of your legs, to your rest of your back, I guess, has a huge impact on how your body works. And in our life, going back to the actual question, do we work on the hips a lot? Kind of. This show is mostly stretching, but our first 3 moves are warm-up exercises that do build a little bit of strength and build a little bit of control. The first thing that we do is called the hip CAR. CAR stands for controlled articulated rotation, and it looks a little bit like this. We're going to lift a knee as high as we can. We're going to open up that leg directly to the side while keeping the knee high, holding this contraction, keeping that strong. We're going to rotate the leg, right? And from here, when we rotate the leg, we're going to rotate some more. Then we're going to bring the leg down and back. Right? When you get stronger with these positions for your hip, for your legs, you tend to have more control. You tend to have more ability to do things when you have control, right? So does it help your hip shift? Maybe not directly, but indirectly, all of the movements that we do is helping you gain control over what your hips and your legs should be able to do. What else do we do? In the hamstring stretches, in the elephant walks, we're doing stuff like this, right? We're putting a whole bunch of pressure onto that forward fold, working on that hip rotation. And so that, a little bit more directly, is helping with your hip positioning. What else we got? What else we got? I can't remember what we do in this show. I've done so many of these lives. A lot of it is just like muscle memory, and which is good because it helps me be more spontaneous with the random stuff that comes out of my mouth. But I can't remember this. Oh, Cossack switches. Cossack switches are really good for your hips because they force a whole bunch of interesting positions all at the same time. All right. For example, when you are here in this squished position in the Cossack switch, you're basically in a deep squat, but only on one leg. And over here on this leg over there, you're basically in a side split, but on one leg, right? If we hold this position, I'm not going to move this leg at all, but I'm going to scoot it over that way. And then I get the other leg to match. Ugh. We're in our side split position, right? So the Cossack switch is awesome because it forces you to stretch into these positions. It forces you to build strength in these positions. It forces you to be able to move in these positions. And we don't do this directly in the show, but as you build more flexibility, you build more movement, you can start like figure eighting and hula hooping. You can add in like cool stuff, and that will build up strength in your knees, in your hips, and movement all around. The starting foundational movement is here, the Cossack switches, but it can develop into so much more stuff when you get really deep and you have control over those positions, right? We can rotate, spin into a lunge. We can bring the leg together into a deep squat. We can switch back, do some more lunges. All those movements hang out on the ground are, getting your hips to work. And we're developing capability, but it's not necessarily super direct because the live is mostly about hip mobility and side splits, with side splits being the main thing. Each of the stretches that we do pre-stretch some of the muscles that we need for the side splits. And so because the side splits is the focus, it might not be as direct for your own hip mobility goals. That was a lot of rambling. I hope that was cohesive enough that you were able to take something valuable from it. And I think with that, I'm going to take one last glance at the chat and wrap up. Queen RR says, thank you so much for today. Carl Leroy Adams on YouTube says, car movements are great. They are really good. It's like the most comprehensive thing to get range of motion in your joint. And for a lot of us, if we're focused on just like one movement, for example, like a common movement is the squats, right? We're getting really good at one fraction of the movement that the hip is capable of. And I just did a whole bunch of Taibo content on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And those videos are doing really well, by the way. So you should check those out if you have not followed and subscribed. And, you know, if you're a martial artist, you probably do more stuff like this, where you're lifting the leg, you're extending the leg, and you're doing crazy things. I'm already about to cramp up just from holding that for like 3 seconds. But if you have strength, you have mobility, you can control these positions, you're able to do really cool stuff, and you can do things that look sick. I cannot do any of those things because I have not trained those positions. But that is exactly what the hip cars are for. You don't need to be holding crazy kick positions to work on the range of motion available at the hip. Usually we train like just the cool move, and that makes a whole bunch of other things not nearly strong enough or weak enough or whatever it is, and balances off, and that's not helpful. So hip cars are awesome. Okay, scrolling some more. Let's see what we got. Charlie the Yogi says, good job. Oh, thank you. Stephanie says, thank you. Make Me Resin says, thank you. And I think that is a good sign we are ready to wrap up. We have run super long today. This has been a 102-minute live. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you got something valuable out of it. I hope you're ready to take on whatever else you got to do for the rest of the day because you got your workout done. But, you know, don't let that stop you from getting another workout. If you want another workout, you can do as many workouts as you want. Generally, that's going to be good for you. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. We have another live in 10 hours and 20 minutes at 9 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to come back to that. If you don't want to, don't. It's okay. It's your weekend. You can do whatever you want with your evenings. I just happen to choose to spend my evenings with you guys. All right. Yeah, I think it's time to go. I got to go do life stuff so that I can come back at 9 p.m. and do more lives, right? I got to fit my life in between. So I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye. Carl says, thank you. You're very welcome, Carl. Thank you for engaging in the chat, by the way. I really appreciate it. YouTube tends to be a little bit more quiet. So the more people sort of engage in the YouTube ecosystem, the easier it is for me to keep up that energy. So I appreciate you coming in, Carl. Thank you for practicing consistency. Thank you for working on your side splits and hip mobility with me. And for everybody, I hope to see you again real soon. Hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. Cool. All right, closing out. Bye-bye.